And so we go. But a few more moments. Aha. Here is our wizard. Excellent. Very well, gentlemen. Hello.
Yep.
Now,
See me?
now I see you.
Shit.
Let me just make sure we're all good on the audio. Going to increase our wizard's a bit, just to bring him up to par with the rest of us. How is my audio? Are you hearing me fine? Is the music too loud? Just let me
No.
know.
That was good to me.
Excellent. Relax, puppy.
Give me a minute.
I'm afraid that has already gone out on the audio waves. You should have told me before so we could open you up an OnlyFans.
I forgot to mute myself.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's all for the fans.
Yeah.
There.
So we're going out now. Are we online?
Yes, we
Are
are.
we streaming? Okay. Are we waiting for someone?
No, I believe it's just going to be the two of you for today.
Okay. I'm gonna need a few minutes in because I need to get an Uber.
Okay.
Okay. Just give me a second. No, I am going to request Uber.
Okay, we can take this as an opportunity to do a little bit of a recap.
Yeah. Just give me 1 minute.
So today's episode is called Baseball. I believe you'll see.
Yeah.
You'll know what that's about in a bit. But to explain, the party has to gain some form of official access to the upper echelons of the monthly sharing ceremony. During the sharing, the inhabitants of this land give of their blood in a magical ritual to create the powerful substance known as royal blood. Not only does it grant eternal life, it also powers much of the magic and engineering, so to speak, of this society. Now the problem is, on a city, things are a little different. Not everybody is gathered together. Therefore, in order to reach the higher echelons, you needed an invitation or some other type of safe conduct. At the end of last session, after conferring with the known NPCs, the party found out that their ally had a grandfather, a beast known as the Rock. And now they prepare themselves to go and meet it and to hopefully understand what its company will entail. Now, the practical problem is that the rock's abode is actually quite far away. Too much to travel in a single day, or so it seems. That was, at least, until their new ally, the hawk-headed man known as Hawkwind. That's his artist name. Asked the fateful question.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the question was, have you ever played baseball? We shall see what the hawk-headed man meant. As soon as our wizard comes back.
Turn off the voice.
No.
No, you can. Now you have to.
Yeah, of course, but yeah. It's fun. In other news, well, now that it's just us talking with each other,
Hey,
I
I'm
cleaned
here.
a bunch of carpets today.
Keep going. I'm listening.
Okay.
Just waiting for the Uber, but I'm listening.
It is the end of the month.
Right.
And in that way that sometimes the moon can be seen during the day, it is so. As our small party goes up, up, and up the sheer stone cliff that is the... Sorry, my little beast of war has gone apoplectic. Give me just a moment.
Amadeus, we cannot see you. Your camera is on. There we go.
Hey,
Puppy
okay, I'm here.
cameo. Puppy cameo.
What up, puppy?
Pórtate bien. Te doy un tate quieto. How dare anybody use his street? Okay, we have you back. So, it's sometime in the morning, and you are making your way up the cliff that is the city. Around you, you see preparations for tonight's event. There is a festive mood in the air. People are bringing out food from their homes and putting them in woven baskets and platters. Rich fruit, meats, glazed bakery goods. It seems that the entire city is preparing itself for a feast. There are small delicacies on offer everywhere you go. All around the city, these red strings hang seemingly from nowhere. It's not that they're hanging in the bare air. As you follow them, they are so thin that they simply become too thin to be seen. You realize that up and down them move tiny little blood red spiders with very complex geometric patterns on their bodies. Following several different fascicles, you see them converging in the direction of the main pyramid. Around you, there are people preparing themselves, wearing their ceremonial garb. There are a lot of men occasionally seen with these white headbands made out of linen, mostly helots. The wind is stiff up here, and your ally Hawkwind says to you, what you need to understand is that it won't be subtle. My grandfather is one of the great beasts of the city's founding. Nobody can deny him entry to a ceremony. And whoever attends with him is considered royalty for as long as they're there. He is nervously touching the lute, Thunderroar, half hidden in the robes that he's donned.
So when we ran into your grandfather, he acted like a giant bird. Is that going to be any different when he gets here? What's going to prevent him from, getting hungry?
Guys, sorry. I need just 1 minute. I'm sorry for this is the last time. 1 minute, and I'll be back. Okay. Sorry.
Don't worry. Do you want me to pause?
Yeah, I just have to go down, and then I'll be back. It's just gonna take 1 minute, not more than that.
Okay.
I'll explain when I come back.
We'll wait for it.
Thank you, guys. I love you.
One. We love you too, homoerotically to be precise.
Ya le dije. Los amo. Y me dice, nosotros también.
All right. Then in that case, I shall just give everybody a little bit more puppy cam. This is my boy. His name is Saul, and he's a little fucking asshole. Today, I used a new wet vacuum cleaner to fix both of the large rugs in the house, and if he pees on them again, I'm gonna do things to you that will make a Drukhari blush. Can you say skinned alive and then reskinned? He knows what he did. Of course, I wouldn't
Does
do.
he care?
Of course, I wouldn't do that to him. My beautiful baby boy. He's way too pretty for it.
I say the same thing about my cat.
And, my 101-year-old grandma has taken a little turn for the worse. She might last very little, or she might still outlast us. She's like that. She's kind of like a weed. As long as you don't smoke her, everything, she survives. Now I'm being mean, but it does mean I'll probably have to accompany my dad to sleep at her place a couple of times a week or something.
Is your dad the only one who can?
No. There's a sister and a brother who live in the city, and a sister and another brother that come and go. So there's plenty of people. I've also got a new shrink to add to the other two, and I'll be going to see her on Tuesday.
Why do you have 3 shrinks?
Well, one's the psychologist, one's the psychiatrist, and this is another one. My mom goes to a class with her every week. It's an emotional intelligence class, and she, I don't know, she might be able to give me better work than the 1 session a month that I get from the other 2. Well, let's hope. Let's hope. Hey, no matter how cute you are, the heroes are still gonna have to survive it. Survive what? You'll see. You'll see. You'll see. You'll see. You good, little guy? Okay. Now, don't go getting territorial. We live on a 5th floor, and I usually open up the balcony so he can get some fresh air. But he gets so territorial, he barks at every dog that goes through the street. I think he forgets sometimes that he's a Dakshan. And, you have to remind him sometimes that he reaches my ankles on a good day.
I mean, Small dogs are famous for having big attitudes.
Indeed. Indeed.
Prime example are Chihuahuas.
All right. Your favorite wizards here. Now I'm fully yours. What up?
So, where were we?
I was asking Hawkwind, like, okay, what prevents your bird grandfather from getting the munchies?
Oh, nothing. I'm afraid you're gonna have to hang on for a bit and find a way to make him listen. He understands
No,
human
no.
languages.
I mean also during the ceremony.
Oh. Well, at that point, it's something else. Like, he does have human level intelligence. I don't even say he's smarter than me. Never made him do math, but yeah. Oh, the jealousy. Oh, the jealousy. Hide that from me. It's been months. Fuck you. Die in a fire.
Look, no. Whoa. This one's gonna look better. Because it's not only what it is, but it's the brand.
I know. I used to get those.
Big Chief, motherfucker.
I used to get those. I use them as, I have some empty boxes. God. I think I'm gonna do drugs again. Anyways.
Anyhow. Okay, no, my question is, the grandfather of Hawk, what's his name again? Hawkwind is who? Can you refresh my memory?
Remember the giant bird that we ran into on the way to the city?
I was just thinking that it was that bird because I can talk to that bird. I've already talked to him.
Well, I'll tell you this. Grandit speaks human languages. Has human level intelligence. The thing is, you're going to have to find a way to get him to listen. And it's not that he's particularly onerous, it's that, I mean, you've seen him, haven't you? You know how much sound he makes just by flying. As a general rule, if you are too puny to make yourself heard over the storm of his wings, you're too puny to listen to.
Then I'll make him listen.
Well, I trust you.
Just question: does he read?
I think he can, but not modern Imperial.
Common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
he talks common.
And if you know Elvish, you should be fine. Too.
Oh, don't you worry about it. We'll be just fine.
Yeah, I figured. Speaking of, have you ever played the electric current drinking game?
No, but I can.
Last time we did an electric current thing, we had a dwarf who lost a leg.
Well, you've got experience. That's as good as anything else. And with that, you reach just about the highest level in the city before leveling out at the plateau, where you know that there will be a lot of soldiers and way too much attention. From this vantage point, the entirety of the city and this low-level, lowland jungle juts down at you. And Hawkwind says, "Did you bring the disc?"
Are those?
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Here it is.
Okay, you pull it out.
I put it.
You pull it out.
I put it out of my pocket.
Yeah, let's say you put it out your ass.
Put it out of my pocket. Oh yeah, here it is. Hold on. Boom.
Okay.
Puffle. Levitate. Good boy.
Okay, I need you to stand on it. Face the exact direction that you want to go. And maybe cover your ears. And
Okay,
just to be very clear,
what is the exact direction we need to go?
In order to remember that exact, you have a general idea, but now that you think about it, it's a bit of a long trek. Why don't you roll me either an intelligence or a survival check?
I'll roll intelligence.
You can both roll it.
Survival.
The intelligence one is higher, of course, simply because survival is a learned skill.
Not 20.
I'll let my boy. I'm gonna let him just handle this.
Zurok, you have a moment of epiphany. The time that you've spent traipsing these jungles has served you well. You've begun to get a second sense for just where things are. Like, you're no longer confused by the movement of the sun, and you orient yourself by the stars at night, which are the stars from your world. But in this perfectly clear day, you look to the east. You see the exact point in the wall where you and your friends came through. There was like a conjunction that created a little mouth. And it's just clear in your mind. You know that you're pointing in the right direction.
So just for theatricals, like even Zurok knows this is just for theatricals. I just go.
He had a natural 20, right?
He had a natural 20.
Like I grab my sword.
I'm like this. I don't know how they do it, but I really admire your skills in finding the way with this whatever kind of ritual you're doing. I think it's amazing.
I need to focus.
Mother.
Hey. Okay. Now get on the disc, and whatever happens, keep your mouth closed if you don't want to eat about a pound of flies. And also,
all right.
So two things. One, if I'm not able to get away on my own, because this is going to get a lot of attention, then you're going to have to rescue me as well as your friend when you get to the ceremony. But that should be doable.
Rescue you? That's not a problem. I'm a rescuer. I rescue people for fun.
Man, I like you. I seriously hope I'm not about to kill the both of you. So he pulls out the loot and begins to
you
play.
might want to try to find a guy named Luke. He came with us, but I don't know where he is. Last time he was in that house, and I pointed at the house of
Your contact, Sergeant Lance.
Lance, yes.
Yeah, I think I can make my way down there pretty quick.
Tell him York sent you.
So he starts to play his lute, and I'm not gonna play it because of copyright issues, of course. But he begins to play a song that goes a little bit like. As he's playing, he begins to spin in place, and you see the clouds appear out of fucking nowhere. It's just the sky is clear one moment, and then it's like it begins to get a little bit hazy, begins to get a little darker, and then there is a spinning cloud atop of you. The air charges with static electricity. Your hair stand on end. And he lets out a piercing yell and hits just the bottom, the underside of your traveling disc. There is a moment of disconnection because you can feel that your insides have stayed somewhere while your body goes forward. And when your eyes are able to open, you realize that you are moving at a vertiginous rate of speed, describing a perfect parabola. I hope you've closed your mouths, because I need you both to roll me a strength saving throw or an athletics check, simply to hang on.
Strength saving throw. It's an 11 plus 7, 18.
Okay, an 18 for Zurok.
It's a 22 for me.
A 22. You both hang on perfectly. The difficulty for this one was a 16.
No, sorry, 24.
Goddamn.
No, what? No, it's a 22. My bad.
So
no, 16.
You hang on perfectly, and you realize that you can't hear anything because you're moving faster than the shockwave behind you. Because you're able to hold on, you take a look behind you and you just see miles and miles of terrain. The city disappears so fast that it doesn't look real. It's like when you look at the world from way, way on high, things start to look sort of like a game, like miniatures. The city disappears so fast that if you had the ability to say it, you'd know that you've just Dopplered the fuck out of there. Now, the world is moving beneath you so fast that you might as well, if you were falling towards the world, you would still be in orbit. And then you begin to slow down just a little bit, just enough that the wind stops burning your face. This is the fastest that the disc has ever moved. Why don't you roll me a perception check,
please? 11.
11?
Perception. 17.
With an 11 and a 17, Zurok, you're able to notice only the barest differences, but in particular you realize that there are red lines crossing different parts of the jungle that weren't there last time. From this high on up above, you can't really make out what they are, but you imagine that they are the army ants, the giant torrent of bugs that you saw on your way here. You have to get closer to the city. With a 17, Amadeus, you're able to notice more clearings than you remember last time. It's not the kind of thing that feels ominous in any way, but you get the distinct impression that it's like every here and there somebody has just cleared out a certain amount of trees in a little circular area. But with the 17, you're not able to see enough details into them to know what's what. You move with blazing speed. I'm just gonna make a encounter roll here. Okay. Nothing happens. It seems that your trip is blessedly easy through the air. You begin to lose some more speed, and now the terrain is more identifiable. In the distance, you begin to see the high peaks of the rocks area. You've traveled a span of space that doesn't make sense. You've moved faster than you'd think it was possible without some kind of teleportation. Now, it's hard to say if it's close or if it's far. Distance is playing tricks on you. So, you can either roll me a perception check, or if you want to make the mental calculation of when do I need to apply a force to slow us down and not overshoot it, you can make an intelligence check.
Can we each roll for one?
Yes.
Like I roll for perception, he rolls for intelligence?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, motherfucker, it's a natural 20. Yeah.
Okay. With a natural 20.
And perception is a 14.
Not bad, but with a natural 20, I'm going to give advantage to Amadeus to... How do you want to stop? Because you realize that you're going so fast, you are going to overshoot the mountain. That leaves you with a couple of options. You either jump at the right time and just trust that you will not splat to death against the high peaks, or you use some spell, ideally you think maybe your mage hand, to start applying deceleration now, unless you have some more explosive way of stopping. It's a rocketry problem. Like, you've got too much acceleration.
I know. That's what I'm thinking of. Hold on. I'm gonna use the mage hand, but not to like slow it down, but like if I could just do something like this with the disc, I'm gonna take I just want to make like a thrust so it goes like a little spin around itself while it slows down, and then maybe using that slowing down to land on the spot. Like what I'm gonna do is I'm
Okay.
gonna use the mage hand to move it and use the speed I'm doing just to like gently just twist it so it starts spinning around itself.
Okay, so what you want to do is adjust your trajectory so that you can lose speed while remaining in the
So-
right area.
What I want to
Exactly.
do on top of that
And land on the right spot.
is grab. I don't know. Maybe my sword is broad enough that I can just put it in front and create resistance against the wind.
You can make a bit of an air break. I'll say that gives Amadeus the help action for the following. So you're gonna have to make me an Arcana check. You've got
Okay.
advantage, but I'm gonna let you know the difficulty on this is a 25.
Okay.
So try not to fail it by more than 10.
I won't. That I'm sure. I have my modifier is a 7. Okay. Let's see. One is an 18, and one is a 6. 18 plus 7. I think I got it.
It is a
It's actually
25.
25.
That is
on the spot.
actually a 25. Motherfucker. So it's not gentle at all. You realize the moment you start applying ethereal force that the amount of acceleration that's been imparted on you does not make sense. As in, it's not decreasing on its own. So it takes every ounce of your might. And for this, I'll have to say that Mage Hand doesn't usually require a spell slot. But would you be okay taking away a first level spell slot for this?
I
mark it
just
down.
nature. Let's do it. Let's see. What if I use then the catapult spell? That it also takes a slot, and it would be like a higher amount of energy to use to create this kind of thrust. Maybe to
Yeah, that would help you create more counter thrust.
then let's
So-
go with that.
You use your catapult spell very precisely to provide counter force, and at first it looks like you've overshot it, but you know that there's going to be an overcorrection later on, and there is a moment where you are both hit by the G-forces of the turn and get splattered against the center of the disc, but you trust your mental calculation and you've nailed it. You don't exactly enter an orbit, but you can feel the wind resistance begin to lessen and even allow you to stand up. The disc describes a long parabola and then begins to come back, and in a moment you suddenly realize that you've got control. You're close
Okay.
enough to the high peaks, and let's remember that these mountains are like the ones seen in Dragon Ball. They're like very small, thin, but very high. With a 25 and the application of a spell slot, you're able to land on a peak that looks familiar to you, as not too far away you're able to see the remains of your camp from the night that you spent on the bluffs. Your legs feel like jelly as you set down on the ground, but you make it.
Okay.
Oh, fuck!
I'm like, shit. That was good.
That was one hell of a ride, huh?
So I just sit. You know, I'm pretty sure that by now adrenaline is very high, and I am coming down on what is probably a feeling of hangover. So I'm just gonna like lay my back against a rock like I would if I was drunk, detecting for vomit.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw to avoid hurling. Let's call it a 10 if you want to do that, or else just hurl. Do it the Roman way.
8 plus 3.
That's an 11. You feel the bile rise up, and then you push it down.
I look at him
Fun.
and I'm like,
I'm not-
what? You can handle a little bit of flying?
That wasn't a little bit of flying, you motherfucker. We just crossed I don't know how much of our continent. In what, a minute? Less?
You just did 2
Wow.
weeks of traveling in like 5 minutes tops. Pushed by lightning. I don't think the technique is going to catch on, but with purposes of what you needed, it worked. Now,
I look at him and I'm like, oh, come on, you've done worse. And you've even called him honey. And I keep walking.
And I just go,
so the bluffs that you're on are fairly narrow. What's disconcerting is that you don't see the bird, you don't see the beast. That doesn't mean it's not there. You might
What's
choose
the beast?
So the beast is a giant eagle.
What's the name?
It's a rock. R-O-C.
Okay. So what I do is I'm gonna use the spell cloud writing or writing in the clouds, something like that.
Cloud
Okay.
Write, I think it's called.
Exactly. I'm gonna use that spell, and I'm gonna write on the clouds something around rock. Please show yourself. We request an audience with you.
Hmm.
On Elvish.
In Elvish. I see.
Yeah.
Well, I assume you would be casting this as a ritual spell. I'm not sure what the duration is on that, but it should be fairly short.
Let me check it. Hold on. Cloud.
If you don't have it prepared, but it's in your spell book, you could cast it as a ritual.
So, no, the thing is, I know I have it because I remember adding it. The thing is, right. The thing is that I forgot it. I forgot the Skyride. Here it is. Casting time, 1 action, rage side, component, concentration, up to 1 duration, concentration up to 1 day. The words appear to be made out of cloud, remain in place for the spell's duration. The word dissipates when the spell ends.
so
Okay.
while he's doing that, I'm looking around to see how much wood there is.
Well, there's not really a forest, but by going up and down a couple of levels, you might be able to grab a couple of good armloads. You know, you're not going to be nobody's going to be camping here for an extended period, so you don't think a couple of trees will be missed. Would you like to cut a couple of them down and make a little signal fire?
So I'm looking at how much wood there is. And I go, hey Amadeus, I think we have on top of your giant sign a couple options to call his attention. One is a big fire.
I'll say this:
Okay.
if you do both,
Another option.
if you give me a survival check, I'll allow sorry.
Listen to me. Another option is using your magic forming object kind of thing that I've seen you do. Is we create a sort of horn or voice amplifier.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Let me. If this one doesn't work, we'll go with that.
So here's the thing. Because you don't see the great beast, you assume that it's probably out hunting or doing whatever it needs to get its sustenance. You're trying to attract its attention. Since you've used Skywrite, and Zurok, if you do me a difficulty 12 survival check, I'll allow you to add the smoke signals, and that will give the rock advantage on its perception check to notice you and fly back.
well, what about the sound one? What about making a horn or something that will?
That would also be functional, but you can't stack advantages on top of each other. So, you know, whatever you prefer.
What do you prefer to do? Fire or sound?
Let's go with fire first, because I mean I'm already doing a spell, and this
Okay.
one requires concentration. If I'm going to make the horn, I'm going to have to stop doing this one.
Okay. So I just go around and start gathering as much usable wood as I can.
Yeah, you're able to gather a good couple of armloads, and it's relatively humid, so it'll produce a good amount of smoke. In a short span of time, a column of sooty smoke extends towards the heavens, where the clouds themselves, arranged in the fine calligraphy of a master wizard, spell out the words, "Come, great beast, come, rock, we must speak." I've taken a little bit of liberty of making it poetic for you. I am
Very
now
good.
going to make a couple of rolls here. The rock is going to be rolling perception. So the first one is a 1, but the second one is a 16, plus its enormous perception bonus. It reaches a 24. Shortly, as you dry your pants against the fire, you hear it in the distance. The sound of
I'll
an
just
enormous hunter.
I just go, now that I think about it, he does kind of sound like Hawkwind.
Hey, it's in the genes, man. And thankfully, it has announced its presence merely by calling. Soon you're able to hear the flapping of wings as the forest itself shakes. And you see him up above, so much so that if you'd looked up, you would have instead been blinded by the sun. He's coming in from a westerly direction. And then you notice something strange. He lets go of something in between his talons, and now there is a dark shape falling in your direction.
Oh shit.
Shit. Okay, shit. Faithful.
Oh, fuck. I forgot you could do that. Okay, hang on. Please, roll me an Arcana check, difficulty 10. It's not a high one because it's going directly in your direction.
Okay, it's a 20. It's a 13 plus 7.
Motherfucker. So you see that the wizard thinks fast and fucks on the GM's plans for a climactic battle. As the beast continues to fall, the parabola of it changes, and you see that it was some kind of terrible lizard, 4-legged with spiky plates on its back, and an enormous mushroom, green and pulsating, occupying the space between its neck and its head. It bellows out terrible roars, and without a perception check, you can see that it is doing something fucked up to the beast. Like, it is writhing in pain as it falls. And then there is a blowing of dust everywhere. The mountain shakes as your attention is directed directly to the master of this domain. An eagle the size of 2 buses touches down on a bluff not too far from you and looks at you with one enormous eye, as if asking, now what?
Okay, then I look at Zurok. Okay, at first time, what is it that we're doing here again?
We're gonna try to convince him to get to us, to come with us to the blood
party
rituals, so we can A, enter safely, B, do what we need to do. But we need to convince him first.
Okay, then I look at him. The thing I do is I bow. I make a bow, like a reverence. Okay, before while he's coming down, right?
Okay.
Okay, so is he? Hold on. Is he still
My
flying?
actually, my attention is kind of divided between the bird and the lizard. So I'm like,
oh, the lizard is suspended in the air, falling so slowly it's comical. Like if it wasn't there, it would be terrifying because you can see the thing is going berserk. But in the air, it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, it's something to watch and listen.
I look at it, and the first thing I do is I look at the bird, and I say, "Are you gonna eat that?"
Takes one look at you, moves its head in the other direction, flaps its wings once, and you get a thought in your head. It says, "Cold."
What?
Cold.
Cold.
Yes.
What do you mean by cold? I mean, what does he mean by cold? I'm asking.
Why don't you roll me an animal handling check?
Oh, he wants it dead.
Yes.
Oh, that's easy. I look at the thing, and while it's coming down, I said, "Okay, allow me, if I may." I cast Create Water, and I put it around the thing's head, so it chokes to death.
Okay. I'm not going to roll the Constitution checks because I know that you don't need concentration. Do you need concentration for Featherfall?
Hold on. Featherfall.
Because that's the thing, you may not be able to do it like that.
No, it's actually casting time is a reaction.
Okay, so you're not even going to spend the spell slots to like fireball it until it's perfectly crispy. You're gonna drown it first, motherfucker.
I'm gonna drown it. Yeah, he wants it cold. He said it cold. If he wants it crispy, I can make it crispy. But he said cold, so it's like a sushi thing.
That's one way of doing it, yeah. So the beast drowns, and you see the most disgusting fucking thing happen. As its head gets encased in water, the top of its skull splits open, and these things like tendrils begin to surge out. They don't have eyes, they look kind of like worms. They're all wet and glistening. It seems that whatever parasite was controlling it from the inside is resisting its death, or maybe making use of its environment. If you want to look at that a bit more closely, if you're not completely repulsed by it, I'd allow you to do an intelligence check.
I would do a survival check because I also remember that Morakan mentioned a lot of mushrooms.
Oh, puppy, it's an 18 plus 7.
Holy shit.
That's a 25.
One hell of a roll. Let's see what Zorak gets.
Okay, survival. I have a plus what? 3? Great, yeah. 8 plus 3, it's an 11.
With an 11, you can't really place what it is, but luckily, you, the wizard, get it a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are fungi, which are a cousin of the average mushroom, that infect bugs and make ants, for example, stand on top of leaves. But you know that these things are kind of complicated sometimes. They need to go through a cycle. There are magical parasites that act that way. Some need to be eaten by a human and then have that human be eaten by a dragon in order to produce, whatever the fuck it needs in its life cycle so that it can make new eggs.
Okay.
What worries you is that you have heard this enough times to know that in about a month, another giant eagle, this one called the God, is going to come by carrying clouds and flood this entire place. And so, how many things are already infected with this waterborne parasite? that controls minds. Suddenly, you think it might be best to cook this thing before you give it to your ride.
Okay.
Once it is fully dead, the tendrils continue to move with a life of their own. It seems the water itself is not killing it, but the body itself doesn't move on its own anymore.
By force of pure logic, I just go to the fire that we just have, and I grab, a log covered in fire, and just throw it at the fucking thing. Throw it at the tendrils, because they're looking to grab onto something.
Oh yeah. So as you throw it and the water from the spell leaps away, it's as if the whole thing had been covered in oil. And you're able to see there's a sticky residue all over it. It goes into flames immediately and begins to burn and emit a frankly quite delicious smell. Perhaps most importantly, it makes a brief fireball, almost as if it had been giving off flour. You know how flour can explode sometimes if it's in the air?
Yeah.
There were spores everywhere. You've luckily burned them away. With that,
I just go, this is the second time we do this shit.
yeah, the plant life in this part of the world is very explosive.
I look at the big bird and I say, "Are you sure you want to eat that?"
So, something very interesting happens as you're looking up. You see the bird open its wings, and the shadow that it casts around you, the group where you are, goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and you realize that you're in some kind of magical darkness. And just as soon as it appeared, it fades away. And in front of you is standing a man wearing very limited, jangly clothing. He's got wide golden eyes and white hair slicked back. He's got a very familiar nose, you now see. Must be part of the family line. And it takes him a moment. He sort of sets his jaw. It's been millennia since I ate with a knife and fork. But since you've cooked dinner, I figured I would do you the favor of talking properly.
So
Thank you very
look at him and say, well, nice to meet you, first of all. I'm Zurok. This is Amadeus. And we are acquaintances and allies of your grandson, Hawkwind.
Ah, loud singer. I have heard his songs in the air. I'm much like him. Better than his stuffy brother. Oh,
Yeah.
Arepa Master, welcome. Welcome. The party is
you
now
for coming,
talking
mate.
to a big bird. And so he says, "You may call me Thunder.
Under.
And what is it that you need from me?" As he's listening to you, he actually just takes a couple steps ahead, and with strength that doesn't make sense for his skinny frame, just grabs the lizard from the air, slams it on the ground, produces a knife made clearly out of one of his own claws, and begins cutting out a good portion and slicing some of the mushroom on the back.
So, as I am perplexed looking at him, I go, so to give
I'm
you
like
a-
this. I'm just looking. I'm like this, and I'm just looking at him. Are you really gonna eat that?
¿Y por qué no? Está cocido.
Sí, pero tú viste esa vaina. Estamos hablando en élfico, ¿verdad?
Sí. For those who watch this for posterity, Spanish is the language of the elves across my multiverse. And he goes, Marico, soy un pájaro. ¿Tienes idea de las cosas que he comido yo en esta vida?
Tiene sentido.
Does
Ok,
make
volviendo al
sense.
tema. Y para que mi amigo Zurok pueda entenderte, volvamos a común. por
No,
favor.
I do
Ok.
speak Elvish, actually.
Oh, you do speak Elvish. Oh, well, entonces.
So here's the situation. Back in the city of Tenki, there has been a change of management that shouldn't have been. Your other son went on to a summer war for some reason, had his head removed, and lost the loot. The ones running the show currently are the Boa clan? Snake guys, snake people. However, we are working on.
When you say that it's the
reverting
Boa
that.
clan, he like spits on the ground, but the spit comes out so hard it breaks a rock. Like it just goes, and the rock breaks apart like. Crack.
I prefer that. Anyways,
You teach me how to do that?
It takes.
so we're
many-
working.
It takes a powerful throat, but yes, I can teach you.
We are working to correct the situation. Of course, your other son, I forgot his name, cannot be regent, cannot be the mayor again, but Hawkwind can.
And so you need my standing to stand for you. Is that
Yes,
the right?
so we can enter the blood ritual on. How do I say this? We are not of high class.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Hawk. Thunder, right?
Under.
That's correct.
Okay, Mr. Thunder. We come from the mist. We do not have stand. We do not represent any royalties, but they do have Our Lady Orchid, and we need her back. So we want to save her, in order so she can come back to her village, and keep handling things there, and we can keep going through some deeper investigation about time loops and stuff that I don't want to get into right now.
Timey-wimey bullshit.
Yes. Basically.
Emphasis on bullshit. But
I have-
here's the thing.
I have only one question.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Will there be war?
Probably the
Probably.
Boa clan will go into war.
When you say that, he takes in a big crunch of meat, swallows down, and you see this look of fierce determination on his face. Like you've just made him happier than you could ever imagine. And he goes, "Then we will fly."
Good. Now, before anything else, thank you. And here is the plan. We intend to arrive and get a
We shall arrive
certain-
on wings of thunder.
Yes, sir. But
Yes.
we're trying to get one particular individual close to the fire priests, where he will spill the beans on a very, very, very big, bad plot. War crime.
Political bullshit.
Kind.
Very
Yeah.
well.
War
But you want
crime
war.
kind of
In
bullshit.
order to get your war, we need this done. Politics have to approve the war. I want Boa clan as dead as you, but we need to do this correctly.
Okay, so first political bullshit, then
Yeah.
we fight, claw and beak.
Yes. Yes.
The road ahead
Nice.
is pleasingly simple. I approve.
Okay. I gotta make a quick call. Give me a minute.
Go for it. We're almost at the end for what's available to be done today without, spoiling the end of the arc.
So I just go and, carve a chunk of meat and eat.
So, for the record, the meat tastes delicious. For however nasty the parasite was, you
Oh.
completely avoid the head area. You realize now that even fucking Lord Thunder here has gone for the back haunches and a piece of the mushroom up top, and you realize it's just fucking delicious. It's like sautéed lizard meat with mushrooms, which, right, not bad at all.
There you go. Listen, you've been around this place since God knows how long.
Since it was a desert.
Oh, damn. Okay. What's up with the fucking mushrooms? They're popping up everywhere.
Oh, that'll be the Green King.
I'm back.
The what now?
The King of Green. A terrible spirit of the undergrowth. He lives in the roots, in the mycelia. His spores are already inside of you and me.
Okay, so I grab something like paper and I start writing. The Green King lives in the roots of the what now?
Of the undergrowth. He is everywhere. He cannot be destroyed, only appeased, only weakened.
And how does one go about that?
Fire.
I thought so.
Any general direction where this thing is?
Everywhere. His children
Where
are
is the
already
center?
inside. There is no such. He can appear anywhere and everywhere. Wherever there is dead life, from there his life can spring. He goes through periods of dormancy. Sometimes he awakens. I believe he will be awake soon. You have seen the holes in the canopy, yes. You have seen the mushrooms springing everywhere. The children of water and rot. When next Tlaloc, my king of kings, comes, the shepherd of the waters, he will flood the land with magic. And then, those of you who cannot fly will have to resist. Thus it's been, thus it will be.
Can we do something to prevent that?
Can you stop the sun from rising in the morning?
Oh no. Okay.
I have an idea.
What, burn the entire forest down?
No. Burn the king alone.
You already said he could be everywhere.
The king is undying. If you destroy a body, he will simply regenerate from wherever there is enough dead material.
And things die in this forest constantly, so...
The
Then you don't
jungle
die,
is
you-
an engine of life.
Then you don't kill him, you capture him.
I do not think it is so simple, but I do not think you're thinking wrong. Unfortunately,
Well, that's it.
my
What- let's
domain is
do-
the
let-
sky.
Exactly. Let's deal with one problem at a time. First, let's get this Boa clan's ass kicked out of the city.
Very well. And one last thing. Don't pull on my feathers. I don't want to go bald. With that, he jumps off the edge of the mountain, and there is a moment of air displacement, and then you hear the wings again. He begins to fly very low, sort of level with the lip of the mountain where he just was.
I just see what he's doing. I grab my disc, I put it in my pocket, and jump.
Perfect. Zurok, are you going to let the wizard be the more adventurous one? You're muted.
Say,
Oh no, you're
No,
okay,
I'm
you're
not.
okay.
so I look at him jump and I go, oh, fuck it.
So you please, both of you, give me an athletics check. Not very high difficulty, but you don't want to get a natural one on this one.
Okay. To
Not
one
roll
die.
20.
Motherfucker, you fall perfectly.
I have it's a 17 plus what? It's strength plus 4.
So
21.
there's a moment of vertigo. There is the cry of a majestic thunderbird, and then the both of you fall almost gently on the sheer white plumes right behind its head in its broad back. Obviously, a giant bird is not necessarily made for riding, but you find that you are able to get perches easily enough. And with a crack of thunder, you realize that this guy doesn't move just from wind alone. As he picks up more speed and more speed and more speed, and you realize now where Thunder Roar's power comes from, as you are raised in wings of thunder and fury back towards the city on the cliff. And that is where we'll end our session for today.
Very well.
So when I land, and I notice that I land fucking perfectly, I go, suck it, knife. I can do it too.
That was perfect, gentlemen. Did you have to circumvent my combat encounter like that, you bastard? Do you know how hard I worked on statting that thing up? It had like 2 turns. It was going to try to take over your minds.
Congratulations, you have inherited Alejo's curse.
Motherfucker, I do the homework for once, and you completely circumvent it. I love you, but sometimes I hate you.
Papi, and I wasn't, and I didn't want to be an asshole, porque realmente lo que quería hacer era eso, and while it was flying, I was just gonna cast catapult to just punch it away. Like it was because that thing wanted to eat it that I left it there, because I was just gonna pull it away, push it away, let go, bye bye.
I know. It's well, I should have taken you by surprise. I should have taken you by surprise, but it's just you did very well by literally writing your intentions in the sky. If you hadn't cards on the table, if you hadn't communicated before Lord Thunder even got there, he would have thrown the thing on a parabola from on high, and you would have just taken a surprise round. But hey, you worked it out. You did. God damn it. I let him out in 1 second. Yeah. That's my little battle beast with his attitude. So, gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed today's session, and we will pick back up next Sunday for the end episodes of this arc, which I hope will be satisfying.